There we go. Okay. Hey, Corvette, how's it going? How's it going? That looks funny. Let me see if I can widen that a little more. There we go. That looks better. Okay. All right. Let me post around here. Bruno Bites, how's it going? I'll just let people file in real quick for a couple minutes and we'll get started. Oh, that's cool. I just saw there's a Greg Biffle tribute decal on the infield for Bowman Gray. That's pretty neat. Bullade, how you doing? I hope I said that right. Make sure this is going. Perfect. Almost missed out. There was tow car. Oh, nice. Red Ben, how's it going? All right. I feel like quite a bit has happened since we last talked, including a gigantic snowstorm. Doritos and Mountain Dew, how's it going? Those of you guys that may have dealt with it, how did you guys handle the big snowmageddon this last weekend? It snowed about close to a foot around here. Of course, then the other problem was it's been extremely cold, so the snow is not melted at all. So we've had lows all week, like into like the single digits, even into the negatives. Yeah, it's been really cold, but we're still cold. Yeah, exactly. We're still cold. And obviously with the weather that's going on in Winston-Salem right now for the Clash, well, NASCAR is back. Very hyped for the beginning of the NASCAR season. Yep, got the Clash coming up on Sunday. Looking forward to that. Just after the kind of off season that's gone on, just happy to see the cars back on the track and everything else, and just hoping for a good season ahead. So I'm from Brazil, so I wouldn't know. Yeah, okay, fair. That's totally fair. So what can you do? But yeah, it's been a fun week. I had a 4 a.m. shift today, and then afterwards went and got my teeth cleaned, and the 7 teeth were good, so that's always good. So I feel like the snow will push the Clash back to Daytona. I don't know. I'm still a fan of it going to different places. So, I mean, if you want to put it in Florida, you could always try New Smyrna or Five Flags. You're still doing something a little different, and stuff like that. Just kind of, testing out different places. Or heck, I wouldn't mind doing another stadium race if possible, because I thought the LA Coliseum was a ton of fun. So, good luck to y'all there. Yeah. But of course, speaking of Brazil, I know in the past Brazil's been talking about, but I would love to see a race at Interlagos. That would be a lot of fun. So I'd be 100% down for it. Take a drink here real quick. So, per usual, we'll have our 2 mock races. I think we got a couple of fun ones, so I figured both of them are kind of appropriate for the timing, but so I think it'll be fun. And in between races, I will show a preview or a teaser, I should say, of the next Racing Infinity, and then I'm going to show a couple of quick SNL things. I'll say real quick. Obviously, we're just about ready to get races going at this point. I know it's been a bit, but things are taking a while. It's because we're trying to improve and get presentation right, and I'm always trying to, improve upon things and stuff like that. So, We're working on updating the rating algorithm too to make things a little more dynamic. So we're getting that finalized and figured out. So we're really close to getting races started though. So I'm excited for 2002. I think it's going to be a great season. Speaking of snow, does the snow happen at Atlanta in '93? I would assume so. Obviously, with the game, you can't really do that kind of stuff, but I would just assume so. It's something I, of course, didn't really cover before, but yeah. Okay, make sure this is all good. Oh yeah, I forgot. I turned the sound off on this, didn't I? Let's see here. Actually, are my headphones? Is it connected to my headphones? That's weird. Okay. Trying to figure something out here because, let's see, properties maybe? Let's see what's going on here. There we go. Yeah, sorry. For some reason, the sound's not picking up on NR. That's kind of odd, but let me at least close it and get it back open here. Let's see. Did you see the news of the late edition of the DC Street Race? Let's see. I think it'll be a logistical nightmare, especially this late. It's kind of ironic given the other bit of news with the Roval and that kind of stuff too. Well, I don't know. It's a little different too, just because like the timing of it. But I guess I want to say that. I guess we'll talk about that real quick. So I want to keep this far away from politics as much as possible. So I do not want to bring that up. Nobody wants to bring that up. I'm just making this about. Oh, there's my sound. Okay. Rebooting the game worked. How about that? It's the old trick of did you turn it off and turn it back on again? Anyway, I will say this. I do like that IndyCar is investing in big new ideas, like DC, like Dallas, the Arlington race. Excuse me, and I think stuff like that can be good if done right, of course. It's kind of like how NASCAR has done the Chicago Street Race in Mexico City, and again, I do hope that NASCAR does continue to do those things and to try and do different things and these big new ideas. Even if Mexico and Chicago didn't work out for this year, there's still San Diego. I'm looking forward to that race. I mean, it's a race in our nation's capital. It's always been a kind of a fun idea to try. I hope it works out. And again, I do respect that IndyCar is trying to try these new ideas. And yeah, there's the potential that things can go wrong. I agree. So, we'll just see what happens. I don't want to overdo the street circuits either. Like if NASCAR does them, just one or two a year. You don't need to do any more. Just one or two, or maybe just the one. Speaking of the road course stuff, of course, earlier this week it was reported. It wasn't really an official announcement. It was just Bianchi with the insider info, like he always does, right? But what's this? The curbs from the IMSA DC race by RFK Stadium are still there. Wait, seriously? That's nuts. Of course, that's where the Commanders are building the new stadium. Is right where RFK is, so they should keep those there. That's neat. I actually do like that. That's kind of cool. So, the news is that the Fall Charlotte race this year will return to the oval. The Roval is gone. Let me pitch in my 2 cents real quick. I don't want to make an argument or anything, but I'll just say that I never really had a problem with the Roval. I went to the race in 2021, had a blast. definitely, again, it's part of that thing of just trying new things, right? Because I think that's important. Um, the biggest thing for me was I don't think it was done the right way. I just found it weird that it just kind of came out of nowhere that they just announced this, less than a week before cars were hitting the track at Bowman Gray. So I just was like, that's kind of bizarre. Um, and I don't like that people are celebrating suddenly that they want less road courses. I'm not saying we should have 15, right? That's ridiculous. I think six or I don't want to say the funny meme, but I have to. 6 or 7 road courses. I think that's a good number. It's a 6 of the schedule. Maybe 8, but 6 or 7's a good number. And suddenly it's like, oh, now we need less road courses, because I feel like it wasn't that long ago we were like, we need more road courses. Now it's like we need less road courses, and it's like, is this because SVG has just been that good? And that, in my opinion, hey, SVG should be celebrated. What he has done last year is incredible. I love it. I want 5 to 6. 4 is too little. Yeah, 5 to 6 would be fine too. Absolutely. 6, 7. Yeah, I've been saying 7 or 6 to avoid the meme. Yeah, it's tough, man. After 36 road courses go on. You would make SVG the happiest person. Gray, why? I'm sorry, I didn't want to. But for this case, I had to say it. But I think it's 7 or 6. I'll say that. It's a good number. Like I said, and then 1 or 2 road courses. NASCAR at Monaco. Yeah, I don't know how that would go. There's a lot of tight corners. I remember playing like F120 a bunch of years ago. And I remember running Monaco. I'm like, bro, how do you people drive this track? Like, seriously. Roval 2021 is to this day the one time Alex and I met in person. Yes, that is true. I need to get my butt back to Charlotte one of these days for one of the races. But let me get back to what I was talking about. So, if you're going to do this, I feel like they should have announced this when the schedule came out, or say like, hey, 2026 is going to be the last year of the Roval, 2027 we're going to go back to the Oval, because I will say this, some people have been like, yeah, we don't need a road course in the Chase. I think we do. I think that really can test the skill of the best drivers in the world, because I think it's important to have a very dynamic, diverse schedule. Right, we're going to these different places, going to these different tracks, and doing, just really testing the skill to our drivers and really promoting that we have the best drivers in the world, right? So, I feel like some people, I may be pushing it, but I feel like some people are just scared of guys like Shane and Zillage, and in my opinion, embrace them, celebrate them. The sport, and I think Justin Marks got these guys because he knew that road courses were going to be more prominent. And there's some guys who are now I've talked about this before, how guys are coming up through Trans Am, like Brent Cruz and Tristan McKee and some of these other guys. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, still, it's, I feel like in a way, it makes me wonder, with the amount of road courses we've had in recent years, how guys like Montoya and Marcos Ambrose would have done in their prime. I feel like they walked so people like SVG could run. And let me say this about SVG. Towards the end of last year, he was getting good on those ovals. I think he could win an oval race this year. I really think he could. And I think that's the exciting part, right? I hope that he wins Chicagoland so he can truly be the king of Chicago. That would be awesome. I truly enjoyed having Shane here in NASCAR, and just an overall great dude. How can you hate that guy, honestly? And of course, I'm really excited about Connor Zilic this year and how he does. So I just thought I'd chip in my 2 cents on the whole Roval thing. Again, I think it wasn't done in the right way. I feel like that. I just feel like it could have been done better. And it felt, I don't know if it was an impulse or like a here, damn kind of thing, but I just felt like it was like, ugh. I feel like they could have announced this better or handled this better, but, you know, I mean, it's fine. You know, it's back on the oval. It's not a big deal. I just think it could have been done better. Montoya would have eaten the field alive. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's interesting to think about. 2022 Cup schedule was near perfect. Yeah, I mean, what's been exciting in recent years is, you know, we're going to Nashville, we're going to Gateway, we're going to Coda. Coda's been a fantastic addition. You know, I could see Watkins Glen being a chase race in 2027. You know, it makes sense since it runs so late in the year. Maybe you do something different. You know, maybe, I don't know. You know, I don't know. There's a lot that plays into it comes with the schedule and what other tracks have. And, you know, you got Coda, you got Watkins Glen, you got Montreal. Why did I say Montreal? Sonoma. I'd love to get Montreal. Love to get Mexico City back. You know, maybe, you know, you have maybe you design one date to where, you know, you rotate road course, like what Corvette said, you know, bring Road America back for a year. I don't know, go to Mid-Ohio, you know, go to Virginia, or, you know, there's other road courses out there. I don't know, maybe Willow Springs. I think that track probably needs some facility upgrades, but hey, you know, throw it out there, you know, throw it out and see what makes it stick, right? So, never forget Montoya being third in points to the 2008 chase without a road course. Yeah. Can you imagine if SVG did that this year? Can you imagine that? That'd be sick. I don't know if I ever brought it up, by the way. I'm good with the chase. I like it. I'm looking forward to it. So, thumbs up. Looking forward to it. NASCAR should have returned to Montreal one time. Yeah, they've been trying to. I would love for the Cup and I almost said Xfinity O'Reilly Series to run at Montreal. That'd be really cool. You know, just you know, keep mixing the schedule up. Let's go to different places. Or Canadian Tire. That's always an option too. I thought Canadian Tire put on a fantastic truck race every year. One idea I like is having one day to rotate international races. Sure, you know, yes, I do think we should push for international races. Again, one, you know, especially if it's overseas, 1 or 2 a year, right? You know, Brands Hatch would be cool, or Silverstone, or I always had the goofy idea of I think you could slap an oval track inside the Melbourne Cricket Ground. You know, can you imagine packing in like 100,000 Australians for that? That'd be awesome. You know, it's a stadium race and it's something different, you know? Why not? Okay. Let me make sure my game is up and running. Okay. All right. We'll discuss more. I figured I'd jump into our first race. So, we're racing at Bowman Gray this weekend, so I felt like it was appropriate for the Super Sportsman Series to run at Bowman Gray. And I will use the 2025 Bowman Gray track. 100 laps, because these laps obviously go by pretty quick. I'm surprised Best Buy returned to NASCAR. Yeah, that's pretty cool, that IKEA Best Buy deal with Hocevar. That's pretty neat. Oh yeah, Brands Hatch was on the 02 Homer Sparks schedule. There is a NASCAR Euro Series. Yeah, I've met a couple guys who race over the NASCAR Euro Series over there. You know, that's pretty cool. So it's cool to see stuff like that, because NASCAR does have an international presence, and it'd be cool to do more of that. You know, so you know, I know there's the Wilkesboros, the Darlingtons. You know, we can always celebrate that, but you know, it's good to get out there and see what sticks, what works, and you know, anything to help push the sport forward. Because, you know, this channel's about celebrating racing, right? This channel's about talking about why we love racing, celebrating racing, and, you know, for me, willing to help grow the sport, you know? I could easily sit here and berate everything the sport's done the last 25 years. I'm not going to do that, you know? Nothing's perfect. I got that. You know, nothing's perfect, and that's okay. You know, I believe in growing the sport and pushing it forward, and I hope that, you know, with any of the issues we've had, we can just finally push aside, and we can all focus as one to kind of, you know, push the sport forward and grow it. And hopefully, again, I'm looking forward to the season. I hope it's a good one. If OMS never got canned. Yeah, I mean, hope Griff's doing well, and he's a big reason why Sunday Night Lights is a thing, and I'm very thankful that we've done over 20 seasons of this project. It's been incredible. We're gonna keep going. So, let's see here. I actually made a fan continuation of OMS, and it's weird, not gonna lie. I have David Gillen in the 7 for AK Racing after Allen retired. Huh. I would also like a one-time race at the end of the season where every champion of each series gets to race in equal machinery. Yeah, I mean, personally, I'm glad that IROC came back to an extent, even if it's just kind of like a vintage series kind of thing, a showcase thing, but it would be cool if we had something like that again. We kind of had it with the SRX, but, to have champions from all over the world race each other, like in a, international race of champions, no pun intended, I think that could be really fun. That was called IROC. Hey, Rose Jam. Imagine if Kelly Williams wins in 2002 after finishing 30th in 2001. Hey, I mean, crazier things have happened. It's kind of funny, because somebody actually posted who would have been champion under the new chase format since 2001. To your cars. And apparently, under this new format, Kurt Busch would have been the 02 champion under this format. Despite that in 01, he DNQ'd. So, it's kind of crazy to think about that. Crazy things have happened. So, there's 28 cars. Larry Foyt's on the pole. That's an interesting one. Okay. Yeah, and I did with the World Grand Prix special. I know I haven't done it since then, but I'd like to do it again at some point. I just need to find a good time to do it. Drivers to your cars. I just think it would be fun to kind of do that again at some point. That's actually how I discovered SVG, and lo and behold, a few months later, he shows up at Chicago and wins that race. So it's like, well. All right. So 100 laps at the Madhouse. All right. Let's see. We got quite the interesting pole sitter here in Larry Foyt. Let's take a look at our starting lineup. So we got Larry Foyt on the pole. Kirk Shelmerdine. We got Rich Bickle, Jason Rudd, Travis Quaffle, Nathan Hosley, our champ, Justin Labonte, Jason Jarrett, Hermie Sadler, Robert Huffman, Scott Wimmer, Bobby Hamilton Jr., Bobby Gearhart, Mike Dillon, Jason Schuler, Frank Kimmel, Ron Barfield, Jennifer Jo Cobb, Angie Wilson, Bill Bigley, let's see, Kelly Denton, Curtis Markham, Shane Hall, Jeff Purvis, Billy Venturini, Takuma Koga, Andy Houston, and Mario Goslin. This 28-car field, even though I had more cars than that, it was just kind of like whatever ended up being. So, at that point, it's just kind of like RNG. All right, Super Sportsman Series action from the Madhouse, from Bowman Gray Stadium. We should make every driver run a marathon from Charlotte to Daytona.
Start your engine.
Winner gets $20, a sandwich, and a pole for the Daytona 500. And here we go. We are just about set and ready to go. And here we go. Pace car off pit road. And here we go for 100 laps. We're racing at Bowman Gray. Larry Foyt, you could say he's in the best position. Leading the way. He's got the pole. Rich Bickle jumps up to second place from Kirk Shelmerdine. Imagine if Larry Foyt could end up winning this race. So yeah, after this race, I will show a teaser for the next Racing Infinity, as well as some teasers for SNL 2002. This track doesn't have the Hall of Fame banners in the building. Unplayable. Question about F1 in SNL. Did all the other fatalities that happened after 81 also never happened in this universe because Ayrton's still alive? It's something I didn't look into as much, but I think that's something that's a possibility. Obviously, guys like Ayrton Senna and Roland Ratzenberger are still around, so it was just something we didn't look into as much, but maybe I'd say the possibility's there. So it's just again something that we didn't think about as much on that one. So we're already a tenth of the way through. So Larry Foyt continues to lead the way. Let's see. By the way, the second race is going to, I think could be a really funny one. So definitely look forward to that one. Does Alex Zanardi still have his crash in Germany? Oh yeah, because that race took place I think just 3 days after 9/11. Because I think they were all in Germany already, but they went ahead with the race and they renamed it to the American Memorial 500 or something like that. I think again, it's something that we haven't talked about as much, but I think the possibility is there that maybe Zanardi doesn't have that crash. So again, it's just something that I think before, obviously nothing's been made official about it. It would be something that I want to at least look into, especially if it has any kind of relevance to the NASCAR part of things. So you could say that maybe that crash doesn't happen, but because things could always play out differently. But yeah, because that was a kart race, right? I think Andretti almost did make it to Germany due to 9/11. Okay. I'll have to go back and look that up because I remember reading about Zanardi's crash in that race. I mean, 2001 was pretty rough for kart because they also had to cancel. Because didn't they have to cancel that Texas race because they were going way too fast that it was just considered dangerous, essentially? Michael Andretti. That makes sense. Yeah. Greg Moore will get to run the Indy 500. Absolutely. Yes. He, you know. And plus, the other thing I've thought about is, like, with Texas Motor Speedway and Fontana not happening, how does, and even, Chicago Motor over Chicago Land, what does that change for those schedules? I've given thought about that just for the sake of the good old lore, but, it's always fun we're talking about. Yeah, drivers were passing out. Yeah. I would assume instead they're probably just racing at Texas World, which obviously it's a big, fast track, but it's a lot more wide open, if that makes sense. But where does Casey King come into the picture? I can't say when, but I think you'll see him soon. Obviously, he was a rookie in Cup in 04, so you're going to see him very soon. So, stay tuned. And, then all the girls can fangirl over him, because that's what they did back in the day. Especially those Allstate commercials, man. The movie Driven was released the same weekend the Texas race got canceled. Really? I didn't even realize that. Wow, that's crazy. Will Kenny Brack still suffer his crash? No. That's because Kenny Brack is racing in NASCAR here, so I just think that crash simply just doesn't happen. So, Kenny Brack will be fine. Manifesting Kane as an AK Racing development driver. Well, the possibilities are there, but we'll just see where he ends up. Our leader's getting close to catching the tail end of the field now, so this is when things are going to get a little interesting to see how our leader, Larry Foyt, will handle the lap traffic. By the way, we got a nice crowd on hand here tonight. Thank you guys so much for showing up and watching. I appreciate all the support as always. So, seriously, thank you. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Like I said, it's taking a bit, but like I said, we're just about there. So, Kenny Brack can win on a road course. Yeah, I think the possibility's there. There are occasions where I sit there and I'm like, man, I hope this guy does well, but when I run those races, it's out of my hand. So, what happens, right? So, I feel like Kenny Brack is due for that big breakthrough. So we'll see what happens. Hey, Epic Memer, how's it going? We were just talking about stuff, some of the recent NASCAR news, and IndyCar news too, with the DC race and all that. And we're currently running a 2001 Super Sportsman race at Bowman Gray to coincide with the Clash this weekend. Card also got a race in Brazil canceled because the municipal government missed a pay deadline or something. Oh, wow. Is this NASCAR 2001 game? This is NASCAR Racing 2003 season. Caterpillar sponsor a full-time Cup ride in the near future. Currently, they sponsor Tim Richmond in the Truck Series and his part-time Cup starts. So, I'm sure maybe at some point they could go full-time. Larry Foyt continuing to work on those lapped cars. He's got Rich Bickle right behind him. Getting close to... So we have about 65 laps to go. Yeah, Yeah, I didn't know about that with the whole Kart Brazil thing. The Weenie 500 is back. Yep, and they're gonna air it on Fox too, from what I heard. So that's nuts. That's cool. That's awesome. Did the split still happen? Yes. Pretty sure. Yeah, the split definitely still happens. Just because, again, that's not something we're covering as much, and I would say that yeah, the split still does happen. So, unless but yeah, I would say the split does happen. Let's see. About Sonoma and SNL will still get its reconfiguration in 2002. Yeah, I don't think anything necessarily changes with that. I wanted to go back and check real quick, because sometimes I just have a brain fart. The split has been mentioned before. It was mentioned in the '96 video, so the split does happen, and the split does happen in Sunday Night Lights. So. But this is also a timeline where I think NASCAR is now a bigger deal than what it was at this point in real life. That NASCAR has gotten very popular amongst the national crowd. So getting close to the halfway point, and Larry Foyt has lost the lead. Kirk Shelmerdine has taken the lead. Rich Bickle trying to take second from Foyt. Felt like it was only a matter of time, unfortunately. I was really wondering to see how Foyt was going to handle the lap traffic, and so far not handling it very well. He gets passed by Bickle. He could be under fire from Travis Quaffle here before long, as Kirk Shelmerdine continues to lead the way here at Bowman Gray. So we are a lap away from the halfway point. Shelmerdine working on the 99 of Takuma Koga, trying to put him a lap down. And next, work on the 13 of Jennifer Jo Cobb. 50 up, 50 down here at Bowman Gray. Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason why NASCAR has grown to basically where it's larger than what it was in real life, because of the female revolution that happened with Patty Moyes, with Shauna Robinson and Kelly Earnhardt and all that. So I think it's definitely part of the reason. And I've argued, and I've said before, I've said before that, the Cup Series has a lot of stars. There's a lot of stars in the Cup Series, and I think that plays a huge factor too. Could Stock GT Series run a race in Mexico? I think the possibility is certainly there at some point. The possibility is definitely there. 50 up, 50 down, yet it's only been 12.5 miles. Is there any plans for an international series? Not at the moment. We still do the international exhibition, stuff like that. We'll continue doing that for sure, to do something, to help NASCAR continue push its international brand a little bit more. So, it's like, how the NFL always had, back then still did the 1 or 2 London games, and now they, Now, they're proposing that everyone gets an international date at some point. So, I don't know how that's going to work, but that's going to be interesting. Like I said, you never know what could happen. There's a lot of possibilities of what could happen, so you never know. By the way, new leader, Rich Bickle. The whole international exhibition situation. We've been doing kind of like a rotation of the international exhibition, which is just like a fun race that happens at the end of every season in Sunday Night Lights. Excuse me. So we spent a lot of years early on going to Calder Park, and then 97 we did Suzuka Circuit. 98, 99, we did Motegi. And then 2000, 2001, we did Rio. So, the Rio Oval, I should say. So, again, just kind of been rotating around, going to different places, and going to different international tracks for NASCAR to help grow internationally. Excuse me. Travis Quaffle, meanwhile, has worked his way to second. Cup Series race at the North Slope. Well, I will say this. We did, I think like a year or two ago, we did an SNL off-season playoffs, essentially. It was during the off-season, and might have been with the 99, I think it was with the 99 set. We did like a playoffs, and we just kind of randomized the schedule, and we did do the full Nuremberg race at one point. That I remember that because I streamed that, and God, that race was insane. I had to turn off cautions, of course, but whew, man, I remember that. Who knows? Maybe I have to run it back for a mock race at some point. And yeah, basically what Jet said. The approach is taking it every 2 years, and is basically rotating it, basically using Suzuka's 2 and Motegi's 2 because they got the Winston West 99's precedent. Whoa! What in the Davy Jones Locker just happened? Reading the chat, and suddenly I heard a car go boom. Oh man, Rich Bickle just took out the 16. We got some madhouse racing going on here. Was there any other victims? No. We keep going. It looks like our leader's okay. No caution. No, there is a caution. With 31 laps to go, due to Rich Bickle. Oh boy. Oh no. This further proves I should probably test the better cautions mod at some point. Well, it's Bowman Gray and NR. What do you expect, right? But what can you do? So we have a caution due to Rich Bickle dumping the 16 of Bill Bigley. Looks like everyone's going to go down pit road for service here. Lore accurate Bowman Gray, yes. Did you see the Biffle font to the 500? Yes, I love it. Love it 100%. Yeah, I guess I can just do that. But yeah, I did see those. That's awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing those. Speaking of Daytona, I will not be going to the 500 this year. Just wasn't able to make it work out, but that's okay. Me and my friends will try and go next year. Obviously, I'm planning on going to some races later this year. Still kind of finalizing what to do there, but one guy that might join NASCAR in this universe is Daniel Ricciardo. Yeah, anything's possible for sure. You never know. The international race just kind of gets pushed back a week for 2001. Since Dover was held the week after Atlanta, it just kind of got pushed back. Well, hopefully the field will sort itself out here. And we'll get back to racing. Snowman Gray. Oh, that's nice. Everyone's a lap down. Cool. Going back to the international race point, yes, there will be a new host in 2002, since Rio had it in 2000 and 2001. We will not share where it is, but it has been decided. And I can indeed confirm that. So, okay, so Jeff Purvis is apparently leading, and I guess Rich Bickle's on the tail end of the lead lap. Well, that's interesting. I mean, Jeff Purvis can just basically let people pass him. It won't be too much of a concern. Here's to hoping J.J. Yeley wins the 500 for NY Racing. Me and one of my friends were planning to go to the races at New Smyrna, but we couldn't get tickets as they were sold out. Yeah, all the past 3 years that we've gone, we went to New Smyrna, so that was fun. Getting to check that place out and seeing some of the action there, that was pretty cool. So it's a nice little circuit. Wouldn't mind seeing the Clash run there. That'd be kind of fun. Jeff Purvis sweep incoming. Can I get inspiration for my NASCAR AU to have Toyota join the Super Sportsman Series? Yeah, if you want. Obviously, if you want to do your own thing, that's awesome. I love seeing people make their own alternate universes and stuff like that. I think it's awesome. So definitely encourage it. Coming to the line, 19 laps to go for Jeff Purvis. All thanks to a caution and some shenanigans. New Smyrna is featured in the world-famous Flex Seal race car ad. Yeah, no problem, Bruno. No problem. Yep. I just saw this car in half, something like that. The king of super speedways. That Subway 51 was heat. Oh, yeah. $16 laps to go when we get back to the line. Purvis just kind of been running that outside line. He can pretty much let people pass him for now. I mean, Rich Bickle's still about 12 seconds back. I sawed this boat in half. Now under 12 seconds. I would be stunned if Bickle caught up, but crazier things have happened. Phil Swift is a legend. Yes, he is. It's almost like it was a reincarnation of Billy Mays in a way. Here, Jeff Purvis coming. Everybody stop. Everybody wait. Here, Jeff Purvis coming. Jeff Purvis still leading. 10 laps to go for the 09. Scott Wimmer has the potential to maybe unlap himself here, even though it's getting late in the going. Rich Bickle back by 10 seconds. Now under 10 seconds. Well, he's made good ground. I don't think it's going to be enough. 8 to go now for the 09. Jeff Purvis just needs to hit his marks and he will be the winner. 6 to go. Five to go now. Yeah, Dale Jarrett didn't really pan out greatly in Sunday Night Lights, but now he's owning Jarrett Favre Motorsports, one of the Dodge teams in Cup, of course, and a couple of the cars you see in this race here. The team's done pretty well for itself. Still looking for improvement on the Cup side of things, but definitely there's been a lot of improvement. Three laps to go. Alex saying hit your mark in every video. Yeah, I guess I do say that quite a bit, don't I? I try not to get repetitive of things, but I just do, which, you know, not the best, but what can you do? Yeah, Dale Jarrett's probably a commentator too. I think that's possible. Coming around, white flag for Jeff Purvis. We'll make $1 per billion in revenue. That's a good one. Down the backstretch for the final time. Turns 3 and 4. Checkered flag. Jeff Purvis and Phoenix Racing get the win at Bowman Gray. Well, as you see, a good amount of cars ended up retiring because they all got jumbled up on that caution. So there's our first race. Jeff Purvis is your winner. Rich Bickle second. Scott Wimmer third. Larry Foyt was 4th, Bobby Gerhart 5th, Travis Quaffle 6th, Angie Wilson 7th, Jason Jarrett 8th, Frank Kimmel 9th, Kirk Shelmerdine in 10th. I'm also surprised you didn't obliterate your voice from that call. I really, more accurate, Bowman Gray. You just got Purvised. Send this to your friends to totally Purvis them. I like this. We're having fun. All right. That race only took 35 minutes. Wow. I ran a quick test for the stream start, and I was like, 50 laps. I was like, oh, geez, that's a short race. Okay, I'll do 100. So that worked out. All right, so let me do a couple of quick things here. There's that, and then so yeah, Jeff Purvis getting the win there. Yeah, okay. Get this set up, and I'll show a little couple of previews, of course, for Racing Infinity and all that. So just hang tight here. Alright, so here's a preview for the next Racing Infinity. I got the race and race done, and have the highlights written down as well. So let's see. The goal, hopefully, is to aim for next weekend for this video, but I'll let you guys know for sure if it's next week or not. Here soon. Just depends on timing and everything else. So I think you guys can tell what this is. It is a continuation of a previous Racing Infinity. Funny enough, I'm making a Red Bull car right now. Good timing. I had one this morning at work. So yeah. So this is it is definitely a continuation of a previous Racing Infinity. So, yep. So something to look forward to for sure. And again, that bull sure is red. Indeed, it is quite red. So again, you guys can pretty much tell what it is. The plan is hopefully next weekend, but again, I'll let you guys know for sure when the video is coming out. But for sure, it'll be either next weekend or the weekend after. But yeah, which is Red Bull in Italian. Gotcha. Of course, I think the other, the part one to this came out, this came out even before Red Bull came back to NASCAR. So that even makes it more special, right? So I simulated the 2011 Sonoma race as I was watching, and H. Allmendinger and Ambrose finished 1-2. Oh, that's pretty cool. Don't jinx it. But yeah, I think you guys will like this one. I think you guys will really, really like this one. So the next order of business is a few SNL 2002 images. Because I feel like it's fair to give some kind of teaser for that. These are basically behind the scenes things that I'm showing. And I'll show you what I mean here in just a moment. Oh. Did not expect that. I'm going to fix this. I don't know how to use OBS sometimes. There we go. Okay. So, basically, I mentioned at the start of the stream that we'll be using more, or we want to improve the presentation, finding ways to just kind of improve the quality and everything else. So we will be using more with Blender to enhance the off-track presentation in 2002. And we are now using it to fully render cars as an example. So, and I will say, I'm going to show you 2 more cars. They are basically things that have not changed, things you would expect. Rose Jam made this paint scheme. Of course, this is Rusty Wallace's car. But yeah, I'm basically showing 3 cars. Cars that basically have not changed, so I don't spoil anything. But I still wanted to at least show. That looks a little better. There we go. So that's the first car, Rusty Wallace. And again, I kind of sat down one day and went, I have Blender on my computer. Can I figure out how to use like scenes and stuff to, up the presentation? And that's exactly what happened. And I was like, I figured it out. So that's the first one. Let me grab the next one here. Here's, of course, the Underbird himself, the Polish Prince, Alan Kowicki. So yeah, I've been doing this for a lot of the paint schemes we've been making lately. So, man, they all look really clean in these renders. So, again, just a really fun way to improve quality and improve the presentation of Sunday Night Lights. And again, I think it's only fair to show you guys, some sort of teaser. So, I got one more to show here in a minute. Let me take a drink of this real quick. Okay. Yes, the next car will not be Shauna, but Alan must be getting close to retirement, right? Let's see. Yeah, a lot of these veterans are getting close to that point. I can't tell you when they're going to retire, of course, but sorry, I'm just making a little adjustment there. There we go. OCD moment. Anyway, Kowicki is about 46, 47, so yeah, he's definitely up there in age. The car set will still be, I will say this, it will be Cup 2000 again, just to kind of keep things consistent. So I will show one more car. So here's Alan Kowicki. I just showed you the Rusty Wallace car made by Rose Jam. This is the Alan Kowicki car I made. And then something about an Indiana guy driving the number 15. It's 46 to set. Jet! Ernie Irvan is in his 50s. I will say this, in the silly season sheet that we have when we do this stuff, I did put down the ages of the drivers to kind of help with context and stuff like that. So going into 2002, Kowicki will be 47. Ernie Irvan is going to be 42. So not in his 50s yet. Bill Elliott's 46. He's going to be 46. Dale's going to be 51. Rusty Wallace is going to be 45. Sterling Marlin's going to be 45. To kind of put things into perspective. Yeah, obviously here's Tony Stewart in his 2002 Pennzoil Chevrolet Monte Carlo. Also, shout out to the Indiana Hoosiers. College football national champions. I did not think I'd ever be saying that. That is such a great sentence. I created my own timeline with some of your cars that started in 1997 for 2001. Juan Pablo Montoya is driving that 15 car. Oh, nice. That's pretty cool. Well, Dale Sr. had a big respect for international road racers. So hey, makes sense. That 2001 Brickyard 400 in Sunday Night Lights was cinema. It felt like it was just had a lot of really fun moments, especially with the DEI guys, Stewart and Dale Jr. battling up front, and Dale getting into the picture, and to me it was just a fun race, and of course Kyle Petty picking up the win. So yeah, I mean it has the DEI stripes feel, but it's still something a little different with the Pennzoil scheme. And if you're wondering, yeah, Tony Stewart is 31. You would be correct. So, yeah, what else in terms of notable ages here? Kyle Petty is 42. Ken Schrader is 47. Patty Moyes is 41. Shauna Robinson's 37. Terry Labonte, 45. Just to kind of put some things into perspective there. So, yeah, so Rusty Wallace, Alan Kowicki, Tony Stewart. Thought I'd show off. Again, just trying to improve the quality, trying to improve presentation for Sunday Night Lights going into 2002. So I thought it was fair to at least show off a few things. Hope you guys liked it. Again, I think these cars look really, really nice. And yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. Thanks. Anyway, show it off here today. Anyway, that's fun. Anyway, we have another race to do. Give me a second here to get that set up. See, is this roster good? Yeah, okay. Well, we're in a time right now with Sunday Night Lights where, a lot of the young guns are coming in and everything else. Let's see. Yeah, I think that should be plenty. You're thinking North Carolina road course? It's not just a Rockingham road course. It's a Rockingham road course in the snow. Woohoo! I'm glad you're keeping up with ages and not letting these guys career. Yeah, it to me it just helps, because we can be like, okay, and we kind of been discussing like, okay, when could this driver retire? We do have the ratings to where drivers will start getting nerfed a bit as they get older. This is a track on Stunod, by the way. Just want to let you guys know. So if you guys want to play with this track, so let me give credit where credit's due here. I'm watching that Michael Mercer, and I think that was the exact track he raced. I wouldn't be surprised. You might be right. So this is North Carolina RC Snow Day by James ST99. It's on Stunod Racing. Yeah.
Drivers, to your cars.
I figured it'd be appropriate since all the winter weather that's going on right now. Yeah, so you don't have 66-year-old Dave Marcus winning a title with 11 wins. That's true. All right, so Rob Moroso, Ernie Irvin, Ricky Rudd, Rusty Wallace, Bubba Nissen, Jeff Green, Kyle Petty, Patty Moyes, Sterling Marlin, Jimmy Johnson, Alan Kowicki, and Chad Little. Won't even. There we go. Excuse me. Jerry Nadeau and Dale Earnhardt, Blaze Alexander, Matt Kenseth, Jeff Gordon, Tim Steele. He wants to show me that. Ken Schrader, Casey Elliott, Tony Stewart, Shauna Robinson, Bobby Hamilton, Paige Jones, Tommy Kendall, Davey Allison, Kelly Earnhardt, Mark Martin, Kenny Brack, Jeremy Mayfield, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Al Unser Jr., John Nemechek, Joe Nemechek, two juniors followed by two Nemecheks, Kenny Wallace, Wally Dallenbach, Eddie Bierschwell, Kelly Williams, Bill Elliott, Rick Mast, Tammy Jo Kirk, and Todd Bodine. Marcus Sweep 2006. Dave Marcus is retired, yes. He just retired a little earlier in this timeline. So yeah, this is North Carolina RC Snow Day by James ST 99. But I figured, I was looking around for tracks and I thought, hey, this could be a fun idea.
Drivers, start your engines.
Here we go. Engines unfired and we are rolling. About to go racing in the snow here at Rockingham. But on a road course. The Roval, the Rock, the Rockville, I don't know. The pace car for a snow race should be a Subaru. Right? Excuse me. It'll be interesting to see how this race goes. Field of 42, racing in the snow. A Subaru WRX? Yeah, definitely. Rob Moroso and Ernie Irvan will lead the field to the green flag. I just thought of something in my timeline. I simulated the 1998 Brickyard 400. Jeff Green won in the 50 because literally only 4 cars finished. Oh, jeez. And here we go. We are racing in the snow here at Rockingham. Holy moly, Ernie Irvan pulled ahead of Rob Moroso there. Like, Moroso had to check up or something. And Ernie Irvan pulls ahead. I like how Rockingham's Roval goes outside the oval, and it's not just an oval with a squiggly bit in the infield. Yeah, New Hampshire's the same way. I know the Roval goes outside the track. As a matter of fact, the same person that made this did a New Hampshire road course rallycross. Could be an idea for the next one, maybe. I think if the drag is turned up high and the slip was lowered, the cars could actually drift here nicely. Yeah, you're probably right for sure. Still, I thought this would be a really fun idea to do, given with everything that's been going on lately. Also in 2002, two drivers won in the AJ Foyt 14, PJ Jones and Mike Wallace. Huh. Next tow car destination reel. I need to catch up on tow car. I'm sure some crazy things have happened. Darrell Waltrip signed to drive for DEI in the 14 and 98 and won the title. Oh, man. Yeah, Texas World did have it outside the track road course. I remember because early on in SNL in 1987, we did that whole thing with Riverside, and the Texas World Road Course came in for a year. That was before I knew how to use free cam, and the cameras weren't all that great on that track. Where's Colin McRae at to win in the snow? Yes. I remember playing those old Colin McRae rally games, man. Speaking of rally, apparently the FIA announced there's going to be a U.S. candidate event in June that's going to take place in Kentucky and Tennessee. So I think that's really cool. So hopefully it works out, and maybe that becomes an actual event in 2027. Especially, just about in my backyard. So I think there's a lot of cool places they can do that with all the hills in eastern Kentucky, and you're kind of close to the Appalachians at that point. To give you info, LED Lights won the Trash Series race at Toddring, and 11 Packs a Day won at Atlanta. Gotcha. Ah, yes. LED Lights. Hermie Sadler won twice in 2001 for Rock Racing. Nice. Can you smell what Hermie Sadler is cooking? You bunch of jabronis. Anyway. In this timeline, the team formed the NWO0, and Hermie Sadler is a cup winner. Nice. Especially when the Rock's team shows up to the Rock, and the Rock wins at the Rock, because can you smell what the Rock is cooking? I don't know what I'm doing. You bunch of jabronis. Or, and that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so. Yeah, I think they are reskins, yeah. Still, pretty fun. Of course, good timing is the Royal Rumbles tomorrow. Jill DeFerrin raced in the 1997 at Watkins Glen. Playing the International All-Star. Yeah, the International All-Star, man, that will always remain one of my all-time favorite moments. That was such a cool thing that I think in this timeline definitely elevated NASCAR to the next level for sure. I just smile and look back on that and how well that turned out, and just puts a smile on my face, you know? Surprised you haven't done a WWE sponsored car yet? I mean, you never know. I know Hermie Sadler did a lot of stuff with TNA for a bunch of years. Dwayne Rockingham Speedway and Entertainment Complex Johnson. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Five laps are complete. It is still Ernie Irvin out in front. We run through the field here. Just Ricky Rudd, Rusty Wallace, Jeff Green, Bubba Nissen, Patty Moyes, Kyle Petty, Sterling Marlin, Jimmy Johnson, Alan Kowicki. There's Chad Little. You had Herschel McGriff attempt the 97 Brickyard for Bud Moore. Nice. Yeah, I think, Hermie did have a match in TNA, funny enough. I think Montoya and Sorensen even had was part of a promo in TNA at one point. Pac-Man Jones. Oh my god, I forgot all about that. Yeah. Yes, he did. Excuse my yawning. Sorry about that. It's been a longer day. But, got a bit of a nap in earlier. Made sure I was ready to go to do this stream. Just kind of running through the field currently. Hope the drivers are staying warm in those cars. I mean, friendly reminder, the Euro Series was testing to do like an ice snow kind of race. And they were going to do it, but the stuff they needed, like the equipment they needed for the cars and all that, unfortunately, the supply wasn't all that great because we were just coming out of the pandemic and all that, so unfortunately they had to scrap it. I hope they still do it at some point because it's something new and different. I mean, that's cool. I want to see if they can pull that off, because if they can pull that off, then who knows, right? He had 2 matches on TNA. Huh. Man. Oreo. Yeah, of course, the last stream we did the Nabisco Super Speedway as a bit of a throwback to the Nabisco Super Snack 500 demo. Yeah, Daniel Marshall's done racing. 8 laps complete in this one. Irvin still leads. Moroso second, followed by Rudd, Wallace, and Green. Oh yeah, who do you guys think will win the Clash on Sunday? What are your picks? I think it was Chase Elliott that won it last year. Yeah, Chase Elliott won the Clash last year. So, and also, where would you guys like to see the Clash be ran at in the future in real life? Melon Man? Love to see Chastain win it. That'd be awesome. I like the paint scheme he's got. The Choice Hotels car. That's pretty cool. Giggles Logano. I think I saw that the last time a defending champion won the Clash was Dale Jarrett in '99. So I'm gonna go with Kyle Larson. I think that streak is due to be snapped. So I'm gonna go with Larson. Or it's probably gonna be Denny. I wouldn't be surprised by that either. But Joey Logano should grow a Burt Reynolds style mustache. I still have not gotten adjusted to him being bald. I know he had the hair issues, but you know, I was just like, I still can't get used to it. Like I said, future locations for the Clash, if you wanted to try Five Flags or New Smyrna, you could. Or try, Kern County or something like that. Or Interlagos. 2026 Logano, now with less hair. Bald Logano looks like a serial killer. If we go to Pocono for the Clash, Priest is doing an Allison 92. Oh, God. Poor Priest. Ten laps complete of the 22. And it has been car number 11 since the start. Ernie Irvan, the 1999 Winston Cup champion for AK Racing. Rob Moroso, who's been close a couple of times to being champion. In third place, the 19 of Ricky Rudd, your 1993 Winston Cup champion. 1996 Daytona 500 winner. Of course, there's Mr. Five-time Rusty Wallace, going for a 6th in 2002, as well as capturing that elusive Daytona 500. Rusty has yet to win the 500. The only thing really he hasn't won in Sunday Night Lights is the Daytona 500. Can he finally get it done? And of course, the defending champion, Jeff Green, for Richard Childress Racing. The man who took over for Neil Bonnet. And he's done a pretty tremendous job in that car, as he will look to defend his championship going into 02. Bubba Nissen had a resurging year in 2001, winning at the Daytona 500 on that last lap pass, winning at Watkins Glen. Looking to build off of that going into 2002. Can he do so? Nissen will be 42 years old going in 2002. Bubba Nissen, of course, two-time winner of the 500, 92 and 01, the 1996 champion in that infamous battle with Rob Moroso And yes, of course, Nissan and Moroso has been quite the unique rivalry because Nissan did pass Moroso for the win at the Daytona 500 this past season. Patty Moyes has done plenty in her career. She has not came close to the championship and has not won the 500. But she still won plenty of races and embarked a revolution that really took NASCAR to greater heights. She's still looking to chase that championship going into 2002. Then there's Kyle Petty, the 1992 champion. The guy that helped build Team Sapco to where it is now as one of the top elite teams in motorsports. Felix Sabates and his organization. Kyle Petty has enjoyed a very successful Winston Cup career in this timeline. Kyle Petty has not won the 500, but he is a champion. And he's looking to see if he can win it again. Of course, his son Adam working his way up the ranks. He's been running in the Busch Series, as well as making some Cup starts. Sterling Marlin has enjoyed some success as well since joining Penske Racing after Junior Johnson sold his team. That 11 team of Ernie Irvan, of course, went over to Alan Kowicki. The 22 went over to Penske. Penske, of course, a force to be reckoned with here in NASCAR. Marlin has enjoyed his success and his wins. Marlin, the 1999 winner of the Brickyard 400. Can he add a Daytona 500, perhaps, to that resume? I feel like if Brack or Unser won the 500 in 2002, I'd have a heart attack. Yeah, I mean, Brack would be insane. For Unser, you know, he needs to qualify for the dang race. He's been unlucky so far, so hopefully that luck will change. Oh, yep, Patty Moyes, of course, the International All-Star winner. In 10th, the man they call the Polish Prince. While he may not have won a championship yet, and perhaps maybe the possibility is there, but going into 2002, he will be 47 years of age, and perhaps that window could be closing. Alan Kowicki has done everything but win a title. One of two drivers ever to win all 4 crown jewels. Alan Kowicki, the winner of the 1997 Brickyard 400, the 1998 Daytona 500, the 1989 Coca-Cola 600, and the 2000 Southern 500. Definitely a very smart, successful driver and businessman to the sport. And he's got a bright future ahead when his Cup racing days will be over in the future, and he'll still have a very successful race team on his hands. One of the top teams for sure in this sport. As some careers may begin to wind down, some are just beginning. Jimmy Johnson, the 2001 NASCAR Busch Series champion, driving for Richard Childress. Did some impressive runs in the Winston Cup in his part-time starts. Maybe perhaps this man could be a superstar in the making. The young man from El Cajon, California, Jimmy Johnson. What if Norm won the 500? Oh, God. Chad Little. Only one career win, but it came at the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. Of course, Chad Little trying to recapture that success now driving for JGR in that DeWalt 17 Pontiac. Maybe perhaps he could find a way to return to victory lane in 2002. We talked about Jimmy Johnson. How about his friend Blaze Alexander? Got his first career win at Pocono. Also the 2000 Busch Series champion. Alexander and Johnson now have the ability to call themselves champions, and perhaps both of them could one day be Winston Cup champions. Alexander, the newest addition to Penske's Cup lineup, and perhaps someone that will continue to find success in the future. Can the O2 make some noise in 2002? Then car number 3, the Intimidator, Dale Earnhardt. He'll be 51 going into 2002. Even though, despite he's one of the oldest drivers in the field, still competitive, was contending for the title this past season. He still knows what it takes to get it done, even this late into his career. The 3-time champion, the 3-time Daytona 500 champion. Dale perhaps looking for another spark to perhaps capture a 4th Winston Cup championship. Regardless, a bright future is ahead for Dale. RCR is in good hands. His race team is on the rise. Dale Earnhardt Incorporated with a major year in 2001. Looking to build off of that for 2002. Matt Kenseth, a solid young competitor who has yet to get his first career win. Maybe perhaps it could come at the 500. Can Matt Kenseth finally get into winner's circle in 2002? That'll be a major story for sure. I kind of like that I'm doing these dialogues all of a sudden. I'm kind of building hype for 2002 in this way. This is actually kind of cool. Got some late pit stops here in the late going. Perhaps Dale's looking for one more spark. Certainly. Behind him is Jeff Gordon. I know somebody pointed out that they claim he's a bust. Jeff Gordon he hasn't really been a bust. Again, he was so dominant in real life. He's been solid. He's been good. But he just hasn't been, how should I put it? He hasn't been as dominant, I would say. I was getting worried for a second. I'm like, why are the cars just sitting there? I feel like this is kind of awkward. Irvin, Moroso, Rudd, Wallace, Green, Nissen, Moyes, Marlin, Petty, Kawicki, Johnson, Alexander, Earnhardt, Kenseth, Gordon, Tim Steele, Shauna Robinson. What would be the theme song for Sunday Night Lights? I don't know. I know for the Instagram posts that I've been making, I've really been enjoying just using the audio feature and putting in songs appropriate to the time. So that's why I've been using a lot of like Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, and stuff like that, because like those songs came out around that time. Tim is him. Tim Steele, an ARCA legend, became Busch Series champion. While he hasn't found the success in the Winston Cup driving for Jack Roush, he's still a tough racer and doesn't back down from anything. Still hungry for his first career win in the Winston Cup Series. Can Tim Steele find a breakthrough in 2002? Then, of course, the megastar. Like Alan Kawicki, one of 2 drivers to win all 4 crown jewels. Again, the megastar. 2-time winner of the Daytona 500 when she shocked the world in 1994. The first female NASCAR champion. The first female Daytona 500 winner. The first female to win at the Brickyard. The first female to win the Winston Cup. 94 and 2000. Won the Daytona 500. 96. Won the Brickyard. 99. Got the Coca-Cola 600 and Southern 500. Robinson has become a beloved figure in NASCAR and would love to chase a second championship to continue to build her legacy. She's had a fun, incredible rivalry with Rusty Wallace. Of course, had that fun championship battle back in 2000. But Shauna Robinson will look to chase title number 2 in 2002. Alright, let me take a look up front here. So Ernie Irvan is back out in front. As we just got a handful of laps remaining. What is the name of this track? It's on Stunod. It's called North Carolina RC Snow Day. Let's see. Suggestions for the SNL theme song? Yeah, I've been looking through the chat. Sorry, I was doing dialogue for all this stuff, doing some 2002 hype. But, you know, I'm not entirely sure what the theme would be. I mean, it could be multiple songs, or I just associate a certain group of songs with one year kind of thing. I have some neat ideas for drivers and teams going all the way to 2025, 2026 even. The 77, Rick Mast. Rick Mast is on the 77. Yeah, I would say for sure one of the biggest stories in Sunday Night Lights right now is not only a couple of them for Rusty Wallace. Can he chase Title 6 and number 7? The 7th and 6th title, whatever. But also, can he win the Daytona 500? That's going to be a major story for sure. Can he finally win the Great American Race? Definitely a question to ask for sure. So, oh no, or free pistachio ice cream. No, wasabi. Yeah. Myself making my debut with Kia in 2025. Nice. 6 and the number after 6. Yeah, there we go. Chasing the 6th title and the number after 6th title. How did we go from saying Among Us Sus to 6, 7? 7 because of Alan? Sometimes I've thought about like what Sunday Night Lights would look like today, like, you know, in current time. Obviously, we're still quite a ways from that, but it's still fun to think about, like, you know, who would be driving where, who would be the stars, you know. We still got over we got 2.5 decades still to cover, and then some when you think about it. I mean, I want to keep it going, so I want to get through the 2000s and through the 2010s and all that fun stuff. I mean, again, the fact that we've covered, you know, over 20 seasons at this point has been a hell of a milestone. So, definitely want to keep it going. Yep, Jeff Gordon's still seeking his first title. Yep. I think he can get it done, you know. He's won plenty of races. He's been solidly consistent, you know. Just gotta... I'm waiting for that major breakout. Especially the fact that his teammate really kind of got hot towards the end of last season, so that's going to be interesting. So it's interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see how this all pans out moving forward. Oh yeah, Stephen Rhodes. I mean, yeah, the possibility is certainly there. Yeah. Again, anything can happen. Anything can happen. White flag, final lap for Ernie Irvan, who has been dominant all race long. Despite starting second, he snatched the lead from Moroso at the start and just ran away with it. Now, of course, Ernie himself has won on a road course before. He won the 1999 Daytona road course race, the Pepsi 400K. He also won at Sears Point that same season. Of course, that was also en route to his championship season in 99. Ernie Irvan has certainly conquered the cold and has conquered this snowstorm better than anyone else. To the start-finish line, checkered flag, Ernie Irvan wins at Rockingham. Ernie Irvan picks up the win here. Rob Moroso second, Ricky Rudd third, Rusty Wallace fourth, Jeff Green fifth, Patty Moy sixth, Bubba Nissen seventh, Sterling Marlin eighth, Kyle Petty ninth, and Chad Little rounds out the top 10. Now we can all go inside, warm up, and enjoy some hot chocolate. Am I right? That was a fun little race in the snow. Hope you guys enjoyed both the races here this evening. I will say, how does Days of Thunder Homecoming do in this timeline? I'd say it did. I'd say it did pretty well. I think a lot of good came out of it. I would say. But yeah, I would say that I'm really excited about the coming seasons. You know, for sure. Going into 02 and then 03, 04, 05, and so on and so forth. I think there's a lot of excitement for sure. I'm really looking forward to it. You know, this to me it's an exciting time for Sunday Night Lights. So the sport is going to continue to grow and push forward and become beloved more and more. So how will the current veterans finish their stories, and how will the young guns start theirs or write theirs? So there's definitely a lot to look forward to for sure. All right. Let's see. I will go another 10 minutes. Just want to talk about anything and stuff like that. I know I kind of started off the stream talking about some of the recent news. Of course, we got the Clash this weekend. Should be a fun weekend. It's gonna be fun to get the season up and going here for 2026. The race for the chase and everything else. Any other predictions you guys have for the 2026 season? Bruno Bites, thanks for stopping by. Take it easy. Have a good night. Appreciate it. And again, I appreciate all the support from you guys. I really do. I really do. Thank you guys so much. I thought we had a pretty good crowd on hand tonight for sure. So I appreciate it. But yeah, I'll go till 10 o'clock since I have another early bird shift to do in the morning, and then I'll have my weekend. I got really lucky last weekend when the big snowstorm hit because it hit right as I had my weekend, so I didn't have to go anywhere. I already went to Kroger and stocked up and everything else, so I was good to go. Sunday night I wiped off almost a foot of snow off my car, and then dug out the driveway and that kind of stuff, and yeah. But man, has it been cold. Chunks of ice have been floating down the Ohio River. That's how cold it's been. Which, fun story about Cincinnati and the Ohio River. Almost 50 years ago, January of 1977, it was this cold, or even colder, for like 40 plus days. And it caused the Ohio River to completely freeze, to where you can look it up. People actually walked on the river, frozen, which is nuts. I always love hearing stories about that because it's like, man, I couldn't begin to imagine what that was like. That's crazy. I hope in real life we get that Days of Thunder sequel. I know there's been talks about it, so I'd love to see it. I'd love to see if it happens. Kyle Busch is Daytona 500 champ. Oh man, when I was there in 23, I thought he was gonna finally do it. I was like, oh, I'll be goddamn, Kyle's finally gonna do it. And the caution came out. It's like, oh no, we're not done yet. And then, Stenhouse won. I was like, no way, that's crazy. It's my first 500. It was very memorable, and I just remember those early on in the race. I was just blown away. I was like, man, I'm actually at the Daytona 500. I dreamed of this, and now here I am. And I'm thankful I've got to go 3 years in a row. Not able to go this year, which is okay, but we'll work towards getting back there again. So, very thankful. If you have the opportunity to go. It is awesome. Just getting to experience an event like that, it is truly one of a kind. It's truly something special. So, Ohio boomers be like, back in the day, we had to walk across the frozen river to school. and Kentucky, technically, because that's the Ohio River separating Ohio and Kentucky. But I've met some people who actually did experience that. It's just like, man. That and the Freezer Bowl that happened in, I think, 83, the Bengals and Chargers in that playoff game, which is like, good Lord, if you're the Chargers, you're like, we don't want to play. Can we go home? This is too cold for us. And then 24 and 25 saw Byron do back-to-back. It's been cool to see the 24 win. So last year was crazy because I was like, yo, Jimmy Johnson got third. How about that? So that was cool. Oh yeah, Jimmy Johnson doing the truck race at San Diego. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I'm thrilled for him. Seriously, I did pre-order a diecast on Lionel because I had to. I'm psyched for that. Seriously, I'm pretty hyped about that San Diego race. 69 entries for your race. Oh, nice. Okay. Well, nice. Boo. I know. So yeah. Hope you guys are staying warm and obviously enjoy the Clash this weekend at Bowman Gray, and of course, the Daytona 500. Like I said, the hope is next weekend I can get Racing Infinity out. We'll see. Not a definitive yes yet, but I'll let you guys know when we're going to get that video out. I will definitely say this next weekend or the weekend after. So definitely stay tuned. Rise of the Field Fillers, Alex Gray edition. If Phil didn't see his shadow, Denny would win at Daytona. Huh. As if by divine retribution. All right, but yeah. Any final thoughts, comments, anything like that for close up for the stream here for the night? And again, these streams are fun. I appreciate you guys always for stopping by. I appreciate all the support. It means a lot. So, like I said, we're getting really, 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 really close to getting the races going for SNL 2002. So. I love Field Fillers. Yeah, I definitely love that series. It is fun. Just join. What's the SNL 2002 update? So I actually showed off some Blender renders of a few of the cars. And like I said, we've been taking a little bit longer just to get presentation improved on and stuff like that, and improve the quality. So, and we're currently doing some ratings adjustments. But we're getting very close to getting the races underway. I pretty much have the rosters pieced together, just about. So, yeah, we're gonna get rocking and rolling here pretty shortly. Speed reigns supreme, absolutely. Speed reigns supreme, absolutely. Well, guys, I'll go ahead and close up shop for the night. Again, thank you all so much for tuning in. Appreciate all the support. Stay tuned for the next Racing Infinity. If anybody joined late, you can check back in the stream. I did show a little teaser for Racing Infinity as well as for SNL 2002. So, yep, I'll let you guys know when I stream again as well. Enjoy the Clash, enjoy the Daytona 500 and all that fun stuff. And here's to hopefully a fun, exciting NASCAR season ahead. And yeah, that'll do it. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you all so much. Have a good night. Have a wonderful weekend. Take good care of yourselves and each other. And I'll see you all next time.